Welcome back to Snoo Tales, where we'll give you interesting stories to go by with your day. Today we'll cover the AIO, or Am I Overreacting subgenre, where you'll read some sus and ethically questionable stories. Without further ado, let's go down to it. First story is from user Berna.
Am I overreacting? Is it normal for close guy friends to talk sexually to each other?
Here's the screenshot of the texts. We'll give you some time to read them first. Feel free to press pause if it's too fast.
First of all, yes, I know snooping is wrong, but my husband has acted or talked in ways before with his buddies that seemed weird to me. So when he mentioned hanging out with this buddy this weekend, I let my curiosity get the better of me. If you're a heterosexual male and friends with other hetero males, have you ever joked this way or heard of guys joking around like this? I could be overreacting and it could be stupid banter, or am I being naive? My significant other and his friend used to play their instruments together a lot and had jam sessions along with some of their other guy friends, who also talk this way to each other from time to time. So that's where the jam thing came from. A couple years ago, he was showing me his phone when they used to play Pokemon Go, and I saw a text that was just sent that said, ready to poke f**k, and then later would just say, ready to f**k. And also when asking to do a mock draft would again just ask, who's ready to f**k? So again, I could be overreacting, but I'm still curious, haha. This just seems so much more specific. Sure, I could just ask him, but if he were actually being physically sexual with these friends, do I honestly think he would flat out tell me? No. If it's something he's been hiding, then no. He wouldn't tell me the truth. Someone please tell me to chill the F out. And that's how you as a hetero male talk to your guy friends too. And it's literally innocent. And you have never done anything physical with them or considered it. Also to add, I have never once told him or asked him not to hang out with his friends, so the "are you ever allowed out of the house anymore" doesn't have anything to do with me, lol.
And here's some highlighted comments. El Rompido said,
There's three answers, one of which is true. 1. This is how they all talk to each other. It's become a thing and absolutely fuck all meant by it. 2. There's one dude who talks like this and everyone finds it weird, but is largely fine. 3. He's gay.
Keyleak6561 said,
Hey, how are you? I'm calling to see if you're okay. Haven't heard from you in a while.
Silly old Billy Bob said,
When I split bills or transfer money to my friends, I always make the payment reference sex money, so their banks think they are prostitutes.
All right, now on to the second one. This one is hetero, but still sus, from Existing Cause 8050.
Am I overreacting at my boyfriend's relationship with his coworker? Take a look at the texts. Pretty interesting, remember? You can press pause if you want. Going to try and keep it short and sweet since there's hella screenshots. We all work for the same company. They work in the same department. I work in a slightly different department nearby them. He 32M and I 29F have been dating for a year this month, and there have been several red flags pretty much the entirety of our relationship. I see this girl, 27, at his desk all the time, but try not to overthink it because they do have the same role, and our job is very collaborative. I had only ever seen one inappropriate conversation between the two of them, and it was extremely brief. Like she said one thing and he said one thing back on his Snapchat. This was months ago, and when I asked him about it, he laughed it off and said it was how they joke, since there was once a rumor at work that they were sleeping together. Keep in mind that we also live together, are active in each other's family events, and talk about our future constantly. Specifically our wedding, future home, kids, etc.
Here's some highlighted comments. Ariel Cabbage said,
That's her boyfriend now. I'm sorry. Not overreacting.
Putrid. U6064 said,
Girl, the evidence is right in front of you. They're f***ing.
Arturius Mythos said,
You know exactly what you're looking at. Everyone knows exactly what you're looking at.
All right, Let's take it up a notch. The problem ethically. What about a dead ex? This one's from user miniskirt.
Am I overreacting? Husband admits he's still in love with his dead ex-girlfriend. To keep things short, me, 32F, and husband, 34M, drank a bit too much last night and he ended up getting emotional about his ex-girlfriend he had in his early 20s. For context, she died from an accidental party drug overdose. I met him about 6 years ago, and we've always been open about our past relationships and have great communication. However, he brought this up last night out of nowhere, mentioning how much her death really affected him, and how he doesn't think he'll ever love someone like that again. He said he's grateful he found love with me, but nothing will compare to the love he felt with her. This hurt my feelings pretty bad. And also being drunk, I lashed out and said some hurtful things in the heat of the moment. I told him how he can't keep thinking about her like that if he's married to me, and that being compared to her isn't fair. He said he wasn't comparing us, but he wanted to open up about how he's had this feeling of nostalgia the past couple weeks, and often thinks about what his life would be like if she hadn't died. I told him it feels like I'm competing with his dead ex-girlfriend, and that it's been too long and he needs to let go. As soon as I said that, he got up and stormed out, saying he needed to go for a walk. And when he came back, slept on the couch and hasn't talked to me since. Not sure what to do now. I believe my feelings are valid and he's allowed to grieve over someone, but to fantasize about another life with her is too much. Obviously, I still love him, but am I overreacting?
Here's some 2 cents in the comments. Curious Beestander 418 said,
Not overreacting, but I think a sober conversation is needed. Maybe even therapy for both of you together and him for his grief.
Empire of the Moon said,
Remember this, memories lie. His memories are of only the good because of her tragic end. Your husband doesn't remember a real person, only his idealized version. Therapy will help him understand this.
Sugarlips09 said,
Sometimes people don't realize how their words can impact their partners. Your feelings are valid, and it's understandable to react strongly when it feels like you're competing with a memory. Hopefully, he'll come around and realize that, and understands where you're coming from.
Messed up enough? What if the next one involves an underage? This upsetting story is from user oatmealbar 7950.
Am I overreacting? Teacher made daughter's takeoff skirt. When I just picked up my 5-year-old daughter from her elementary school's aftercare program. She was just wearing the white borderline see-through bike shorts that I use when she wears skirts as a just in case. When I asked her where her skirt that she wore to school was, she told me that her teacher made her take it off and put it in her backpack because she was messing with it in class. This resulted in her walking around in what I would refer to as her undergarments for the rest of the day. The teacher has done this before with headbands or jewelry, which I can understand if it's a distraction. I even can understand that her teacher may not have seen an issue with the shorts like I do, but the act of making her take off her skirt just seems inappropriate and degrading. Am I overreacting? If not, what should I do about this? Edited to add. Please be patient with me. This is my first post, and it's hard to keep up with all of the comments. I plan to speak with my daughter's teacher tomorrow to see if she can shed any light on the situation. I can't imagine a scenario where this would be the appropriate reaction, but I want to hear her side. Depending on how that conversation goes, I will escalate it to the principal. This was her kindergarten teacher, not an aftercare teacher. I don't think they were even aware of the skirt in her backpack. Some have asked if it was a tutu, but it was a cotton maxi skirt. She also has a change of clothes in her backpack that her teacher is aware of because it is a class requirement. Thank you everyone for your input. I appreciate all of the advice. Final update. It's a virtual learning day, so I was only able to email my daughter's teacher. I was very clear that I thought it was inappropriate and would like clarification on what exactly happened. She called me immediately a bit flustered and told me that my daughter was putting the bottom of the skirt in her mouth repeatedly during the lesson. It was a phonics lesson, so it was directly hindering her participation. She asked her to stop quite a few times and eventually brought her out to the hall to talk. Because she had the skirt in her mouth, she was already aware that she had shorts on when she asked her to put the skirt away. She mentioned that my daughter didn't seem uncomfortable with the request or the shorts at the moment, and she also didn't realize they were sheer. She was very apologetic upon reading my perspective and realizing just how inappropriate it seemed without any context, and her apology seemed very genuine and sincere. She said she will apologize to my daughter as well. After speaking with her, I honestly believe it was a spur-of-the-moment decision and was just handled very poorly, but not out of malice or ill intent. I am a single working mom and she knows that and doesn't like to call me at work unless it's something serious. But I told her I would always like to be aware of any disciplinary action taken with my child, big or small, moving forward. I will be keeping a close eye out in the meantime, and I do have my email as a paper trail. I also know they have cameras in the hallways that I'm sure caught the incident if I have any future concerns. I've talked to my daughter today to confirm the teacher's side, and she seems completely unfazed by the situation at this point, which is good. We've also had a long talk about what is appropriate and when it's okay to say no to an adult. I know many encouraged me to go above the teacher's head or even to the police, but I don't feel that is necessary at this time. Thank you again for the input and advice. Based on some of the comments, I know many of you will think I'm in the wrong for not taking more action, but I am satisfied with the outcome for now.
Here's some awesome comments. Advisory Services said,
A teacher should not be normalizing students being asked to undress in response to an authority figure. Get into a conversation with a decision maker and make it clear what your expectation is, and ensure it gets communicated to the teacher in your presence. Ensure this gets recorded in writing and send a follow-up email. Copy to the board in charge. This is your child's safety and upbringing. You have a duty and a right to demand standards. There is no board or principal in their right mind who would risk the negative media coverage around children's safety.
Emma Pants said,
This is wildly inappropriate, and I'm furious for you. You should absolutely speak to the administration about this. I would go straight over the teacher's head. But also, what could she have possibly been doing with her skirt that was so disruptive that this what the teacher resorted to? It's a fucking skirt. It's not like it makes noise. Let the kid play with her skirt.
Inner History 2676 said,
The whole thing is inappropriate. You should ask for a conference with the teacher and set an expectation that when it comes to removing substantial portions of clothing, the default should be to not do that until, at minimum, you have been consulted and provide input in the appropriate remedy if your daughter is in fact doing something distracting with the clothing. There had to be a better solution here than take it off. I'm so sorry this happened.
Thanks for watching. Do you think they are overreacting? Any comments you agree with? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe and like if you enjoy them. Feel free to request any type of stories in the comments. Till next time.